Hello, everyone. This is Demia Avery in conjunction with ConnectCapeFear.com. Today, we're joined by two professionals who are deeply rooted in serving their community here in Wilmington, North Carolina. Combining hometown dedication, a personal touch, and broad experience in insurance and family protection planning. One of my guests is a former British journalist turned Wilmington insurance agent who loves to bring clarity and peace of mind to local families. The other grew up on a small family farm in North Carolina foothills and now serves his community with sincerity and focus, helping protect what matters most. Welcome to Will Tidey and Hunter Tilley. Welcome.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
No problem. Now, this is a two-part question, for both of you guys. Will and Hunter, you both bring unique journeys to your work in Wilmington. How does your upbringing influence how you approach helping your customers?
Yes, sir.
Who want to go first?
Sure. Thanks for having us. I think the way we go about doing things every day is really just to treat people the way that we would want to be treated and the way we want our families to be looked after. Yeah. So upbringing-wise, my upbringing was all over the place. My family had a construction business, so you're dealing with all different types of families, all different geographical villages, towns, cities, things going on, all different types of people. And I think the thing growing up for me was always treat everybody with respect, understand that people are going to be different in lots of different ways, and just embrace that. And I find that a real fascinating thing about what we do is we're meeting different types of people with different needs all the time, and our challenge is to service all those different types of people and needs in the best strategic way we can.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I think, as you can hear, me and Will grew up very far from each other. We sound a little bit different, but I think that's a great point too, is treating people like you want to be treated and taken care of. In our case, all of our clients, it doesn't matter if you're raised in Europe and you're a lot older than me, or if, if you're a little bit younger and raised in rural North Carolina. I think if you're raised the right way, it's synonymous across the world. But yeah, I think definitely growing up in North Carolina, Farm Bureau is a huge company within North Carolina. Obviously, do a lot for local sports. We do a lot for local sports and schools. So I remember seeing Farm Bureau agents come to the high school when I was in high school. When I went to a rural high school, so we had farming and a lot of agriculture stuff. FFA, they did a lot with that. So I saw it my whole life and saw what kind of, I guess, role models they were, even back then before I thought I would be in this career.
But you know what? I love the dynamic here. Do you guys ever work as a team, or do you?
I've been in multiple offices, so has Will. But even in our office we're in now on Independence Blvd in New Hanover County is probably the best tight-knit office I've ever been a part of. We do a lot of stuff together weekly.
Yeah, I love that. Now, I'm a big fan of customer service and personal service. So as far as personal service, what would you say, what does that mean to each of you?
Farm Bureau, especially in the state of North Carolina, is like the epitome of customer service. That's our business model. Is we have great rates across the board, commercial, home, auto, life insurance, everything. We're not going to beat everything every time, but what you will get is a Hunter or a Will that is 24/7, 365. Customer service is how we get our clients. Like I said, if we quote your home insurance and we're a little bit higher, at least at the end of the day, if something goes wrong, whether it's going to be a claim or whatever it is, you can call my cell phone at 7 o'clock on a Saturday and I'm going to answer. You don't have to call an 800 number. You don't have to go through a secretary or anything like that. You've got your agent directly to them.
Awesome. Now, how about you, Will?
Yeah, I echo what Hunter's saying. I think if you're a family and what we do differently, I think, at Farm Bureau is you're going to have that experience. If you're my client, I'm going to come out and see you. I really want to see your house. I want to meet your family. I just want to get a feeling for everything, because that helps me make sure that we're doing all the right things. So I think we're entering an age where it's super easy to do everything digitally and online, and there's tons of advantages to that. We have an app too that makes things easy in some ways. But I think that personal touch, when we have situations like if I have a client who has had an accident in a car, or who has a claim on their house, or is trying to do something and needs a solution, then speaking face to face or meeting for coffee or going out to them just feels like a little bit old school in a way, but that's the value proposition. And I think that's what sets us apart in Wilmington, is that we are going to come out and see and build those relationships. That's kind of how we approach customer service. You know, I want to build relationships with people, because it's advantageous for them hopefully, but also for me, because if I'm going to be running a referral based business, I need people to really know and trust me. If they're going to say to their friends or family, oh, you know, Will's a good agent, we work with him. So, you know,
I love that. I love the whole personal touch you guys give to your customers. And speaking of that, a lot of people that usually come to get insurance think it's purely like functional. It's just paperwork, just fill this out and go home. So how do you guys kind of give that personal thing that like, okay, I really do care about you getting this insurance, you know what I mean, and the reasons why you should get this insurance? Is there something that you have to?
I think one of the most important things I've noticed. I'm 28 now. I've been in the business 5 years. So from when I started, even till today, you don't get taught anything about insurance. Like you said, it's just paperwork. Oh, I have to have this because I have a home. I have to have this because I have auto. But it's not something you really know about. So I think the most important thing, I think, to me, is meeting with people my age or even a little bit older, or a little bit younger, who have no idea about insurance. They just know that when they were 16 or when they were 18, their parents made them buy an auto policy on their own. They have auto insurance. They don't know how it works or what they have. So I think once you sit down with people like Will was saying, and have coffee or have lunch and meet with them and go over just the basics of insurance, it makes them feel a lot more secure and a lot, they understand what they're actually paying for. And with anything, I think it's really important. You think you're getting a deal, but you don't know what you've got. Are you really getting a deal? Or vice versa, if you think you're paying a lot for something and I break it down to you and show you everything and we make some changes, you're a lot more comfortable spending the money on something that you understand what you're actually getting. Yes, ma'am.
So did you have anything that you wanted to add to that, Will?
Yeah, I think the key for us is for it not to feel transactional. You need the insurance, so we have it. We're going to, obviously, we're trying to sell insurance, but we're not going to sell you something you don't need. And I think also we're going to sit down with prospective clients and take time and go through things in detail, and they may not buy us, right? But we're still at that point providing some expertise and some value, and it's just. So I think that's the thing, is that you can't go about the day to day just thinking about how much am I going to sell today. I think that is a natural product of just good customer service and good community relations and doing the right thing. Then often I think both of us would probably say you help somebody out. Maybe they're not a fund bureau customer, they need some advice. You help them out. You do things for their family. You do what you can to make sure they're right. And then quite often, a few years later down the line, they're going to call for insurance, right? That's not why you do it, but I'm just saying that's how I see it. Like, it's just do the right things every day, and you kind of, it works itself out.
Right. Now, let me ask you, because we're in a coastal area, what are some of the misunderstandings that people have? Because one of the things you have, of course, storms, floods, and things like that. So do you get a lot of people just totally misunderstanding the type of insurance they're supposed to get and things like that?
I would say not just misunderstanding, but kind of like we were just talking about in the prior question, more of just a lack of knowledge, because it's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things you've got to have. Like you said, you have to have your wind and hail insurance, you have to have your regular insurance, you have to have a lot of things. I would say Will's definitely probably better versed in this. He's been in the coastal counties his entire career. I just came to Wilmington. But I think that it's a lot that you don't understand, a lot of words you don't probably know what they mean.
Break it down to me like a third grader.
Exactly.
I think having worked in. I started in Southport, so I was down there by Oak Island, Brunswick. So I've done that part of the coast, and now here. So we have a lot of people moving here, right? We know it's great. Like Brunswick County the same, Hanover County. There's people moving here from the north, from all over.
Right.
And I think the most common thing is just a bit of sticker shock, like. Why are we paying so much for insurance? So you kind of have to take your time to really explain, well, the reason that insurance is not cheap is because as insurance companies, we've paid out a tremendous amount in claims through various storm events
Right.
and weather events, and so home insurance is a really difficult business to be in. But also just making sure people understand that your home is almost always your most valuable asset that you're sitting on.
Yeah.
So cutting any corners is just not smart, because when it comes to it, if there's a named storm or something that comes through here, what you'll find is Farm Bureau is great at just putting a check in people's hands very quickly to solve a problem, and that's the value that I think we have, where we do have a really good reputation of dealing with those moments, and those moments happen. They're pretty regular. We've been, touch wood, we've been lucky so far coastally this year. But
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's home insurance specifically, like we're talking about, is more important to know what you've got and how it works and what you're exactly paying for.
Yeah.
In coastal counties, much more than in inland counties. I come from a more inland county where insurance is a quarter of the price for the same home if you picked it up where I was just at, and you put it right here in New Hanover County, it's double, triple the price. But you're also thinking about freak accidents like a fire or a pipe burst and it's $50,000 or $60,000. Odds are you have a claim are very low. People go 50, 60, 70 years and never file a homeowner's claim. Inland counties. In coastal counties like where we're at now, obviously, is you're going to have a home claim. There's going to be a hurricane. There's going to be some type of storm. If you own a home long enough, you're going to have to deal with insurance.
Right.
So why not have a company that has broken down to you what they offer, what you're getting, and giving you a dedicated agent rather than going online and clicking some buttons and not knowing what something means.
Yeah. Now, I do have a question, and I know, well, you guys tell me, do you ever get people, like when you call them for like a policy review or something like that, do you get people that are just either have anxiety about it or nervous about it? And like, what are some of the key questions that you usually ask of them? And I guess that would ease some of the people that's looking at this.
No, I don't get a lot of anxiety or worry about it. I try, and Will does too. I know everybody does. We do a great job in New Hanover County of it. Is being extremely open. We can come to your home wherever you feel comfortable. We can sit in a conference room like this at your office. We can sit in your home in your living room, or you can come to our office. We try to be as kind of open as possible for our clients. That way they feel comfortable. And then I always like to start mine kind of the same way, especially if we're discussing home insurance. I kind of just start at the top and I say, look, I don't know what you know or you don't know about insurance, but we're going to pretend like nobody in this room knows anything but me, and then we're going to start. So I kind of keep it as simple as possible. Yeah. Use normal terms and phrases. Don't use any fancy words or insurance terminology.
You have to talk to me stuff.
But yeah, I think that's one of the most important things is that Farm Bureau offers is just the openness of wherever you feel comfortable and wherever you want to meet on a timeline, and physically is where we're gonna meet you guys.
How would you say you guys build trust with your clients? Because I know that's an important thing.
Yeah, and that is the most important thing of what we do. Because if our clients don't trust what we do, then we're not doing our jobs properly. So I think it's that honesty. It's that availability. If people, if someone calls you and you just don't get back to them, then we're not following through on customer service and being a personal service, right?
Yeah.
So you got to get back to people. So you got to be organised. And I think it's also not being afraid to tell somebody that the product that we have is not always the right product for somebody. So if I'm sitting with someone, and obviously a Farm Bureau product is great, but there are times where actually we're not the right insurance company for this. Yeah. And we have we're connected around Wilmington, and there's loads of good insurance companies here, and some of them specialize in different types of areas.
Absolutely. Right.
So absolutely there are times where I say, look, I can do this, but this area that you're looking to insure, I'd rather you work with a good friend of mine who does this over here who's great, because they're better at that. So I think that's where you build trust through that too. We also have a really good referral network of all kinds of things, right? Because we're working with roofing companies, construction companies, all over the map, loan companies, mortgage companies. So I think you get trust through that. People moving here from the Northeast, they don't have any contacts. Oh, I need to get this, I need a construction company, I need a real estate agent, I think those are the types of things where we can build trust also.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think being so connected, which New Hanover Farm Bureau does such a good job of, being so connected with the entire community, like you said, I have people call me all the time and they're like, I need a landscaper, I need this, or I need that. And it feels good as actually to be the agent and insure a plumber or insure a landscaper and say, oh, I've got so-and-so, why don't you just call him? And now I've got a client who I just helped get another client who's also a client. So
awesome.
I think it just is like a big circle, like Will was saying, being very connected is super important for the area.
That's my favorite thing. If I've got two clients who somehow found each other another way, and I've got a couple right now, and I won't reveal who they are. But two small business owners. I literally just met with one, met with the other a week later, and I thought, you guys need to meet because what you're doing is like in the same space. And sure enough, they met last week, and I think they're going to do some stuff together, which is that's really cool for Wilmington, like things like that. So we love stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it all comes back to we talked about earlier, not being transactional based whatsoever. It's just I think me and Will both probably see it too much, or we're too much so of every client we have is a relationship. So if you treat it like a normal friendship relationship that you have anywhere else at church, or that you meet somebody at a restaurant, whatever it is, they're obviously a client, they're buying a product from us, but there's still a relationship that you're building. So if you see it like that and you treat it just like you treat any other real life relationship, it'll prosper and they'll trust you, and you've got a good client.
It makes a difference.
Absolutely.
It makes a difference. Now, when you guys maybe approach someone about your business, and they say, "Oh, I'm fine. I don't need insurance." Do you guys find often that if you actually talk to them, they may not have what they should have?
Probably 95%. Yeah, I think definitely. And I especially being in Wilmington now and being here less time than Will's been here, meeting with clients who I inherited, so they were already with Farm Bureau. I came to this office and now they're my clients. I think I've met with a lot of people who maybe in the beginning were either wary, or maybe in the beginning were like, I don't need to go over this insurance. I've already got everything I need. And I'm like, well, did you know this? Did you know this was your deductible? Like, well, no, I didn't. I'm like, well, do you know how this deductible works? I'm like, well, no, I didn't. So at the end of the conversation, I feel like they always leave my office or I leave their house, and they're like, okay, that was a beneficial conversation, or I didn't buy anything else. And I think we do a good job too of whenever we meet with our clients who are existing or new, they get the vibe and hint pretty early on that we're not just there to sell them something. We're there to go over everything, and obviously them buying something is at the end of the day, but it's something they have to buy. We're not just pushing products on them like Will said. We're not going to sell you something you might not need if there's a specialized guy right down the road.
Now, speaking of the different insurances, the policies that you have, like, why don't you just name me the different policy insurances that you guys offer?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, okay, so if you start with let's build it all around the vision of a family, right? So take a typical family, a couple of kids in Wilmington, let's say for the sake of it, they live downtown. So the home insurance is their primary home. Okay, so the home insurance for wind and hail, which is insuring the home. The auto insurance is obviously covering their cars, their vehicles. In a lot of cases, our clients then are family. Life insurance is super important, right? Because life insurance is there to make sure if something happens to you that your financial impact can continue, and that it's really the best way to make a statement, say, I really care for my family. That's not to get too emotional about it, but it is that is a super important part of what we do. Health insurance where it works. If you're self-employed or you're outside of an organization that's providing health insurance, then we can do that. And then you get into the sphere of other things that come with it. So a lot of our clients maybe are business owners. So those kind of small business in Wilmington, landscapers we talked about, coffee shop owners. We have the liability policy, the workman's comp, the coverage that protects their work operations on a liability and property basis. And I've touched on a few. It's probably some things I've missed, but those, I'd say that's the core of what we're doing. And there are some other things too that we can get into. Personal possessions. A lot of people have things of value, jewelry, art collections, things like that. Of course, boats I didn't mention before. A lot of people in Wilmington have boats, so we
Very true.
We cover those. So yeah, I mean, our dream scenario for a family is that we can do it all for that family, and then they've got the one agent, and I have families like that. They've got a business, they've got a house, their kids go off to college, and the kids at college need renters policies because they're renting an apartment at college. So it sort of continues as the family grows with us. I mean, those are the bulk. I missed anything.
Yeah, no, I think that's perfect. And I think that goes back to kind of like, that's the perfect example of Farm Bureau's business model is the whole family, build everything around the family. And I think that comes back to too, not being transactional and having relationships with your client. I tell people, because like I said, I try to be honest in all relationships that I've got. In the very beginning, I tell people, we're going to treat everybody the same. It doesn't matter if you give us $50,000 a year, you have one car and you pay $1,000 a year in auto insurance. But we're not the company structured wise that just, we want one automobile and that's it forever. Now, obviously, if you only own one automobile and you don't own a house or anything else, then that's great. And we'll obviously treat you just the same as somebody with 50 automobiles. But if you have one automobile with us and you've got 5 with another company and a house and a rental house and a boat, and a business, we're not the company to just keep that one auto. We want to grow that relationship. And you'd be open to us quoting. And obviously, I've got clients who in 5 years here, I've quoted their auto insurance 6 times, 7 times, and still haven't got it. But the point is like to be open to bring it to us eventually, or at least let us talk about it with you. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, ConnectCapeFear.com, they are a big advocate for community. Does your organization, does your business do anything in the community or maybe give back to the community in any way?
Yeah, absolutely. So Farm Bureau as a corporation does a ton with all colleges, high schools, everything across North Carolina. The fair, if you go to the state fair that just ended on Sunday, you can't go probably 5 yards without seeing a Farm Bureau logo somewhere on a trash can, on a billboard or anything. But it's up to the agents in the office individually, county to county, to kind of be as deep and rooted in the community as they want to be, or as off hands as they want to be. Wilmington, our office does probably one of, if not the best, I would say the best, of being in the community. We do stuff with every single high school. We do stuff for charity events on the weekends. There's an agent in our office. I think we have 10 agents now. We're at 10 agents now in our office. I would be willing to say there's a community event with a Farm Bureau agent in our office every single weekend somewhere. And I might have missed some stuff there.
I think, so the high schools that you'll know, Laney, Ashley, Hanover, Hoggard, we're heavily involved in athletics. I've got 2 boys playing soccer at Laney right now. We do a player of the week out there for them. We've obviously given some money to their program, their soccer program, boys and girls. Hoggard, we have a big presence of football. Same at Ashley and Hanover. And then, there are other things during the year, but at its core, Farm Bureau has a non-profit element which is supporting agriculture and education across the whole of North Carolina.
Nice.
So that is the core identity of North Carolina Farm Bureau. So there's a lot of work. The agriculture stuff's above my pay grade, but there's a lot of stuff that's going on to support local farmers in North Carolina to make sure they can still farm and to make sure that even at the highest level of legislation, even at the highest laws of our representatives are, I believe this is correct in saying, are regularly up in Washington DC, trying to make things right for the farmers here. And on the education front, there are definitely some pretty prominent kind of scholarships and things. I know there's some heavy involvement in UNCW with a couple of, I forget the word, but marine agriculture, which is called something else. But we play a big role in supporting that at UNCW. So there's lots of things like that going on, which I think only helps people feel good about a local company.
Now, if anybody wants to find you guys or talk to you guys, what's the process? How do they get in contact with you?
A lot of ways. Pretty much any way you can try to get a hold of anybody. We have a website, obviously we have an app, we have business cards that we hand out quite frequently. But if you look up just New Hanover, Farm Bureau, Independence Blvd, you'll see all of our pretty faces and you can choose who you'd like to discuss everything with.
Awesome. Now, is there anyone, the last question, I want to make sure you guys get out and sell those policies. Now, is there anyone, I'm a believer in giving people their flowers, or is there anybody that you guys want to quickly just shout out and say thank you, and that, because I know it's a team effort. What do you guys think?
You for one for bringing us on this podcast. You got anything?
Yeah, this has been great. I think yeah, we're very fortunate to have a community that's really welcoming to us. Certainly all the high school athletic directors have been great
Absolutely.
in letting us get involved.
Yeah.
Coaches at UNCW are very open to us. Soccer,
Yeah.
we do a lot of stuff with it. UNCW
Nice.
soccer, baseball. Everybody's been very open for us to do whatever we want to do
Yeah.
for their sports teams and athletics.
We're not a company. You're not going to see a ton of Farm Bureau ads on TV or anything like that because. So thank you really. So a lot of our customers that do a lot of our advertising for us, right? So a lot of the time it is,
That's a good thing.
my buddy Jack said he
Yeah.
had a claim and you guys paid real quick.
Absolutely.
I want to bring my insurance over to you guys, or things like that. We think we've got a really good office culture where we're just by the point of Independence.
Mhm.
So I think our office is feels like it's growing and we're excited about that because Wilmington's growing. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
if we can play a role in that, that's exciting.
Awesome. Well, listen, guys, we want to thank Will and Hunter for coming in today, talking to us today. I'm going to make sure that we put all of their phone numbers, their website address, everything at the bottom so that you can get in contact with them directly. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we get out of here?
No, man, we enjoyed this. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
You're
this is
welcome.
great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, this is Demia Avery on behalf of Connect Cape Fear, and we'll see you soon.